Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the First Class Evidence Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Frometa, and we got some first-class guests up in the building today, one returning, one new. Before we continue, I want to remind everybody that we're live at Bravery Studios in Garfield, New Jersey. Shout out to Mark Beyond the Glass, and thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. So, we got a returning first-class guest, and we got a new first-class guest here. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, you already know him, the handsome Joel Frometa, and also coming for the first time on the show, the one and only, the lovely Mena Guy. How you doing, Mena? I'm so glad that we finally did this, and it kind of came up last minute. Like, I just called you today because I had some guests that canceled earlier, and then you came in clutch. So thank you for coming.
Oh, absolutely. I'm doing a lot of at-home editing work right now anyway, so I'm glad you got me out of the house.
Yeah, and then you also came in clutch. So the second time you came in clutch, I really appreciate that, bro.
I would have thought you would have blocked me after the first time. So thanks for having me back, bro.
No. The first time I had you on my show, it was the first time that I had regained solo hosting duties of the show, and you kind of got me back to where I needed to be and realized, you know what, I got this. I don't need nobody else.
I'm here to be your rock, bro. So I'm here. Episode 101, right?
Yeah, episode 101. See, man, this guy, wow, somebody should be paying this guy.
I'm telling you,
Yeah. So I want to get the reason I asked you guys specifically to come here is because we are in the movie business, essentially. We're both actors. You're also a model. I'm a podcaster, and you're also into production, and you're a director. I've done a little bit of directing myself as well, but nowhere near as far as like your caliber of work. And I think that you have some very impressive projects and so on and so forth. But before we get into all of that, let's get the audience a little bit familiar with who you are. So I actually read an article that you had out recently. I forget for which magazine, but it says somewhere in there you came from humble beginnings to doing what you do now. So let me get a little bit into your humble beginnings. So like, where does the story of you, Mena Guy, begin? Like, where were you born and raised?
Well, I'm actually a Florida girl, so okay. I grew up in West Palm. I was born in New Jersey, but we moved there like very quickly after. Mm-hmm. So grew up in Florida. True Florida man over here.
You know what? Not to cut you off, but I actually hear the Florida accent in you.
Do you really?
Because I went to high school in Miami, so I know.
You did? Okay, yeah. So you know about it. Yeah.
Yes.
That's so funny. Nobody ever calls me out on that. So that is funny.
I didn't want to say it in case I was wrong, but now that you pointed it out,
West Palm. Yeah. What's specific about the accent? Did you have like a little bit of a drawl?
No, it's very basic, but it's still Florida accent. At least it's not like Hialeah.
I guess no, but it separates from like not New York.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't get Rockland County vibes from your voice.
I do like it over here though. Like when I came from Florida, I was really hyped to be in New York because of one, there's a huge, beautiful mixture of cultures. You know, like every other corner you go in the city too. Like, oh, here's a Turkish restaurant, here's a Greek one, here's Japanese, here's Spanish, you know, and I'm thinking about food because I'm a fat ass, but I mean, but that's besides the point. It's like there's so much culture, so much of that here.
I mean, listen, look at me. I got quite a palate, as you can see, you know?
I am a true foodie, but like, it's wonderful, it's beautiful, and I feel like that's a lot of what inspires my works, you know, is just hearing different stories from different people and, you know, soaking in that culture. So coming to New York, that was such a shock for me because where I was, like West Palm, it was an awesome area. I do like it. And I do miss Florida. But for me, it's like a vacation spot, you know? It's a lot slower paced.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I don't see myself living there again. I see myself maybe in the future getting a little condo so I can like snowbird back and forth. But
so did you realize that you picked the one seat that's next to a palm tree, or was that a
what?
Hey.
Yeah, right?
You were
drawn to it. Well, I'm Filipino too, so the tropics are in my blood, you know.
There you go. Caribbean blood here. So
yeah, absolutely. You know
we're
the
just
vibes.
missing a bachata guitar right next to you or
Don't
something.
play with me, man. I'll put it right on this
It's incredible. But yeah, I mean, I'm one of 5 siblings. I had a big family, so I guess, you know, in terms of humble beginnings, like I have a big family person, big family life. And I think that everyone was very supportive of me going into the arts field. I know that a lot of people kind of have families that are like, oh man, what, you don't want to be a doctor? Like,
that's
you
what
know, you're not gonna rake in the money.
I don't know if it happened with you, but it happened with me.
I mean, I would be a terrible doctor, but
me too. You know, I
am surgical with anything in relation to bachata.
Oh yeah. See me, I'm like a horror thriller girl. Like I love that for films, but I can't deal with it in real life. Like I will like freak out. I've actually like fainted before from seeing like gore or thinking about it too much, but I have a separation with SFX and what's actually real, you know. So
you know what's funny is that it's kind of funny that you bring that up because sometimes, not all the time, but there's a lot of cases out there in the world, in anything, just in general, where somebody cannot be into something, but for some reason they'll excel at it. Like perfect, like you just said right now, you were, you do horror horror films mainly, or just, horror in general, but it's not exactly your forte.
Yeah, like I think for me it's more gore isn't my forte because I do love like horror. I love psychology. Like I think that what gravitated me towards it is just the horrors of human nature and
so you would say you're more of like a
psychological.
You're more like a Seven girl than a Saw girl.
Absolutely.
There you
but
go.
I do like Saw, like
I do like Saw too.
I do, but yeah, absolutely. For my own writing and my own producing, it's absolutely like psychological mind game stuff like that, But I have a respect and a love for each branch of horror. I think it's very fun. I'll even watch the ones that are like so bad that is good. Like who doesn't want to smoke a joint and watch some bodies get chopped up? But I mean, I don't want to see that in real life. The thing is, like when you watch a movie, like I can absolutely be like, yeah, man, Sharknado is not real. But like when it's right in front of me and someone is like, please, no, I have to go to the hospital. Like I hope I don't have to go into that many situations like that. And I will act, but man, like I can't be a nurse. Like no. Dealing with that on a daily basis, like I respect the hell out of them, but I couldn't do that myself. But like bringing it back to like, when you're younger, your parents are always like, no, go for this field, go for like a STEM job, something like that. I was very fortunate that like my parents were supportive of my decision to go into film and media. I think that because of that support system, it really helped me a lot, and I feel very fortunate for that. I think that I've always been a business person. So like for me, like getting into the industry was always like, okay, I am going to learn how to build my own production company, build my own thing. I have this piece of equipment. How can I be a successful filmmaker? How can I get clientele, and then I can always branch out and, try to do other things. But like I always saw it in like a business type of aspect. Like, okay, I've got this equipment. I know how to do the art side of it, but I'm not going to just wait for someone to get me a job. Like, let's go out there. Let's make some commercials. Let's see what musicians want to have a music video. But like, fortunately in New York, I could throw a rock out the window and hit like 7 musicians on the head. Yeah. So like, there's enough work for everybody. I like, also when I started doing like music videos or working with musicians, I worked with this magazine early on in my career, Double XL. Yeah. They were the hip hop and rap. Yeah.
I used to be really, really into that.
With the freshman list and all that.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's great. I love music and narrative films, like where I'll do documentaries and stuff like that. But I mean like narrative filmmaking, storytelling, and then music in terms of like the visual technical background of it. Like I don't do any music producing, but I'll make a music video. Yeah. I love to work with artists. I'll shoot a show, stuff like that. But no, working with Double XL was really awesome. And I don't remember why I mentioned that. But there was like I was like, wait,
you're describing your humble beginnings. That's what you do.
Yeah. Oh no, it was about like this was I don't feel the need to really compete with all these other businesses and stuff like that. I think because in New York there are so many artists out there, and I learned that also from working at Double XL. Like, yeah, you got to work hard and manage your own clientele. But like, if one of my friends was gonna tell me, oh, I want to get into music videos, I'd be like, go for it. It's awesome. Do it. Like I'm not gonna feel the need to go and compete with them. Like New York is such a diverse and plentiful place with like a artists. So I feel like there's work for everybody, and I think that also making a living for yourself as a filmmaker in at least like to what I'm kind of doing, like a producer, video producer, you just got to put yourself out there and kind of manage it like a business, because that's what it is. It's like you're making your own business, you're building your own clientele, you're making sure your clients are happy, you deliver everything. So if like you have that attitude and you can keep that up, like you could be very successful in this industry.
Yeah, me and Jason talk about it all the time. You have to be really proactive in this industry.
You have to be proactive.
You can't sit back and wait for anything to kind of land on your lap. You have to kind of have that appetite, and But I wanted to ask you though.
Yeah.
So do you feel like maybe, because like I found it interesting that you mentioned the whole nursing thing, how like you're afraid of the gore.
I am.
But you love
I love
horror.
SFX gore.
So do you
I'm
think
weird.
no, I mean, it sounds to me like maybe that is that way because maybe you like the creative control.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe I'm taking control of my fears,
Yeah, because I know like once you get that high, or like once you hit your stride with your creative control, like you just want to build on it.
Oh, right. That is true.
Right? You guys ever?
No, absolutely, and I think that this podcast for me has allowed me to do that. I mean, before I had this medium, before I had this show, I was extremely shy. I was not a guy.
You were shy?
Yeah, I was.
I can't imagine that.
It's funny because you guys are meeting me. I feel like, not to sound cocky or anything, but you guys are meeting me in my prime, where I'm actually getting out of my shell and discovering like the power that I have within me, and so on and so forth. And it took a long time for me to realize that. But before I had this podcast and when I was trying to do other things creative that didn't work out, I got very discouraged, and I just feel like part of my discouragement was also I kind of had that loser mentality where I already had a picture of failing before it actually popped off. You know?
I see.
And I think the shyness and me being in my own show was detrimental to that. And then ultimately I had to break out of that slowly but surely with this show. And I think this show has actually helped me grow as a person and as an artist. And that's why I've been able to branch out to all these other avenues recently.
That's really awesome to hear that, honestly. And I'm glad that we're meeting you at that point of your life. It's a beautiful thing. I
feel like you progress every like couple of episodes, because I feel like at first like maybe like around the time that I was here last, you were like, oh hey, yeah, I'm an aspiring director, and then it went from like, yeah, I'm looking to dabble into other things, and then went to, you know what, I'm gonna go into acting. And I feel like the confidence is just like really like reflecting off of your aura. And bro, it's a shame that they didn't see how you came into the studio today with your shirt open and the chick. Come on, bro. We saw you, bro. The hair slicked back. I was like, forget about it, But it's,
Christopher, you're killing your mother.
So I gotta say, it's a good thing to see that you're coming out of your shell, man. And I think you don't give yourself enough credit. I know I say that every episode.
You have.
But it's because I'm rooting for you, bro.
No, I appreciate that. That's why I don't give you any pushback or like try to like poo-poo it or anything like that. I know it's coming from a genuine place. Now, I want to keep on going with Mena and Joel and everything that we've basically connected with each other. So I actually want to start off with this real quick, Mena. So. It's funny because
what's up?
So we met because we were on a previous podcast with Bud Rebel.
Is that where we met?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We did. We met
shout out to Bud Rebel.
Shout out Bud Rebel.
We were on his podcast, me and Emma Littig.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, about we were promoting the Nights TV show.
Nights, yeah, the TV show.
Right, and then afterwards, me and Emma went back. We finished the show, and then we were heading back to Jersey, I think. And then you were walking us out because Bud was busy with something else, and you just you told me about this opportunity, about this film that you're shooting, Uncle Sid.
Yeah.
And you were just long story short, I feel like you purposely just gave me that role because of my hair and my voice. That's it.
I remember this moment actually. Now that you bring it up, so like when
because
we were
I was essentially a newbie.
Yeah. I told him, I was like, do you do voiceover acting at all? Like, you sound like Bowser, man. Like. Is
that a new one?
I'll get you, gadget.
Yeah. I was like, hold on, no, I got to do something with him. Like, I really, it's funny because also sometimes you meet people in the most odd places or are just moments, and I just remembered you because of your voice. I was like, he's got this deep voice. Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, no, we got to cast him in something. I'm like, we'll put him in Uncle Sid. You got to be the bad cop.
Well, initially you wanted me to audition first, but then afterwards,
I was like, no, fuck it.
Yeah, it was like, you know what? Yeah, audition. I'll just give it to you.
Yeah, I was like, no, you got this, dude. I believe in you. And you killed it, man. You killed it. That was a really fun day. We did it was like a 1 day short film little project. We're testing out some gear and we put it out there. I think it's gonna hit some festivals. But Yeah, I know. I told him, I was like, I think you could be the bad cop. But it's really funny because, you're such a teddy bear,
Yeah. I mean,
You're very sweet. And then I was like, now let's make you like go across the table and grab this guy.
We didn't get any BTS of this, but there was at one point where I think I got too aggressive where the chair just went flying across the room.
Yeah, that's right. The chair flew across the room. But actually, I would love to ask you a question.
Yes,
like as an actor, do you love playing like roles that are completely not you, like you're stepping into a completely different character?
That is such a great question, and god damn it, you should have your own podcast at this point. I actually had this discussion with a friend of mine, Alana J. Shout out to Alana J, also Bravery family. But make sure you act up with Alana J. Got to do that little plug-in real quick.
Yeah.
But she's also an actress and a stand-up comedian, and she also does a lot of improvisation. So the point that I'm getting at here is that I want to be able to show that I'm more than just what you see, like, judging a book by its cover.
Absolutely.
So, lately I've been getting roles as far as like like maybe a dirty cop or a criminal or something like that. Basically just like the criminal underworld kind of stuff. But every now and then, I mean, what if I want to play like a bartender or like
it's the hair, bro.
Or
I get the same thing. It's the hair.
What's so funny is I totally thought you looked very like neutral. Like you could be moldable into different parts. I got you for bad cop because of your voice. I was like, man, this guy should do like voiceover acting or something.
And that's it's so funny how things happen because when I got my first acting gig, I was a little I had a little trepidation because at that point I just wanted to do VO work. I didn't want to do in front of the camera or anything like that. And this is my shyness kicking in. Like I want people to hear me, but I don't want people to see me. But ultimately I just took it because I figured it's an opportunity, why not, and just have fun with it and be open-minded. So that's actually still the goal that I want to get at. But in the meantime, I'm still having fun with being on the camera and
so
working with
acting, you said?
Absolutely,
I'm sorry. That's your goal?
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's like the one thing that I am really looking forward to. Like I'm chomping at the bit for it.
Yeah. So I was right with the whole Bowser thing then.
Now you got to sing the Mrs. Peaches song.
Yeah, right.
Oh wow!
Now you have to before we end this.
Peaches,
you're gonna have to.
Sure.
I mean, do we have the lyrics here?
I think it's just peaches.
I think so. Yeah.
Peaches,
it's all right. No
peaches,
pressure.
peaches.
We're gonna test that anxiety.
me.
That's so funny. No, I think voiceover acting could be pretty fun. I mean, I'm not an actor myself. I think I've done a couple things here and there for fun. Yeah. I was actually in this Better Lovers music video. I was the star of the music video, but you wouldn't be able to tell because I was a frog. and we fucked up a set. Like the goal of the frog was to just take things and smash it. And so my girl Corey, shout out Corey, Shimko,
shout out Corey, yes.
She was the art director of that music video, and she hit me up and she's like, do you want to be a frog? And I was like, yeah, fuck it, why not? I'll come out. So I came out and I was the frog. She was also the frog at some points. Like we kind of traded off because it's funny, we're both like the same height and body structure, so we fit in the costume the same. So we're both the frog. But yeah, we're there with like this latex frog mask, bouncing around, fucking up a set. It was pretty crazy. But yeah, that's my acting life. I'm a behind the camera girly. But
what about VO work? Like,
yeah,
show off that Florida twang.
Yeah, Florida twang. If someone gave me the opportunity, I would love to just do voiceover work though, like just like for a here and there type of thing, because I think it'd be fun. I'm like seeing this little cartoon, and I'm like, that's me.
I mean, you've been staying busy with acting. Like it seems like every time I call you on the phone, you're either at work or you're on a set. And like, yo, bro, I'm on a set right now. I'm rubbing shoulders with Jason Bateman. Like I can't talk right now.
Yeah, what you been up to?
I know. No, this guy stays busy, and I don't know how he does it, but I think it's the tattoos and the beard, honestly.
Yeah.
But kind of reverting back to her question, what she was asking me, and I'll flip it over to you. Like, are there worries about you kind of being typecast, or like would you like to show a little bit more range or any kind of character that you would like basically chomp at the bit that you haven't tapped into yet?
I mean, I do feel like I've been typecasted a little bit, but it's kind of in line with what I want to do anyway.
Okay.
I love playing villainous roles.
Really?
Yeah, it's just
So if this is wrestling, you love being the heel.
I would love being the heel.
Oh my
I don't
God.
think baby face is for me.
Okay.
Which is funny because I do have really strong.
So what type of villain
morals.
though? Like in your ideal villain role, would you want to be like in a horror movie or like I'm the Marvel villain? Like
I was recently in a horror film, and I played the main antagonist, and I can't really give too much, but it was really fun.
Were you a killer?
No, I was the killie. And yeah, I didn't make it really far in the movie, but I got to play a really fun role, and I got what I had coming to me, because I did stir up a lot of stuff. But
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I can't either. But no, to answer your question, yeah, the tattoos and the look and the hair does kind of land me in kind of similar roles over and over. But like I said, it's just, I mean, I like to be tested. I like to go into different roles and kind of like really kind of like test the different emotion. And, I love the intensity of certain scenes, but I kind of just take it the way it comes. And like I told you, being proactive is huge. Like I can't stay and wait for something to come to me. So whenever I can, I try to network, and I try to let people know, like, listen, this is like, I'm always down to work, and this is, and you go to my Instagram is like my resume.
Right. And I think that one of these days, me, Joel, we want to aspire to kind of like Mena's status. And what I mean by that is, we're being honest here. Like, we have our 9 to 5s, we got to pay the bills and the rent and so on and so forth. But Mena is basically making a living based on what she loves doing solely, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So,
I'm a full-time freelancer.
There you go. So like, that's eventually what we want to get to at one level.
Yeah,
and, it's just all about meeting those connections. And, and me, I feel like I'm too much of a nice guy where I don't care about being in the top spot. I like seeing everybody that I'm close to winning. That's why when we went to the premiere in Brooklyn for the other film that we had that you guys made with Bud Rubble and Abby and all them.
Oh, The Undead, yes.
Yes, The Undead. And I brought him along because I'm pretty sure that maybe there's a possibility that he may meet some people there and rub shoulders with and network. And
networking is super important. And if any of you guys ever pop out to my events, I invite influencers. I try to utilize their clout. I'm like, no, promote my event, promote the movies, show your following. So like, for me, I always try to have people, whether if it's influencers, actors, whoever else, just people who worked on the film, which are like super valuable. I love to create networking opportunities for everybody, like, but also I think even if it's not my own, I like to pop out to different networking events because you never know who you're gonna meet.
Yes,
like there could be a random networking thing in Manhattan, Midtown, wherever the fuck it is. But like you don't know, you might meet somebody that you're gonna hire on your next project, or someone who could be your best friend. Like I think it's just really important to put yourself out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. And that's a great point, because last year in September, I went to the New York Latino Film Festival.
Cool.
And I went there to support a friend of mine, Ramon Pasante's film Playing Sam, which is a fantastic film. And Alana J, the aforementioned, she's also in the film as well. So I went to go support them. But when I was there, not only did I enjoy the movie was amazing, but the before and after was awesome, because I got to network and meet a bunch of people that I'm, kind of working with now and talking to this day. Mm-hmm. And also, it was very inspirational for me in the sense that I was already bumping into people that I had already worked with previously, or there was at least 5 or 6 people that have already been on my podcast, and I just happened to bump into them there at the festival.
That's awesome.
So that night led me to believe that I am probably doing the right thing after all. Like I'm doing something right with my career going forward, and I'm just looking forward to work and go from here.
What's your main thing that you want to do for your career? Because I know that you're a man of many talents,
Excuse me, I got a little choked up there. Ultimately, I it's kind of hard to contextualize, but it's just I want to be able to do what I love and not feel like it's actual work. Whether that be VO work, whether it's being in front of the camera acting, whether it's doing a podcast, anything creative-wise of what I've been touching already is what I want to do in the long term, and that's what I'm building towards. And I just want to get to a level where I don't have to do some kind of labor job that I don't necessarily enjoy just to pay the bills, and letting me get away from my creative freedom.
Yeah.
Well, because in a way, you kind of feel like you're leading 2 different lives.
That's exactly what it is.
And then you get spread thin.
It's completely night and day.
One side suffers from it,
Yeah. So like when I called you guys earlier today to see if you guys can make it on the show. And thank you again for showing up. There was a sense of joy because, all right, well, I'm getting to create with people that I really respect and I enjoy working with. And then as soon as I get off the phone, I'm like, here I am, just back to the old guy. I'm fucking miserable now. Especially in this rain is not helping either.
Yeah.
Well, it is important to fund the creative, projects. So, I mean, when I was, before I was working full time as a freelancer, and I was like getting through college and stuff like that, I was working a lot of retail. And I saw it as like, I hated that job. I hated working retail, but, I just looked forward to my paychecks. I mean, like everybody else, but because I would also invest in gear, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take this paycheck and I'm going to do something creative with it too. Like, obviously, be responsible with your money. But I was like, all right, I'm going to make a short film. I'm going to save up to do that. And if I actually make this short film, I'm going to learn because, you learn with every film that you produce. But also, I feel that it's creating your own content and also being on set. It really you learn much more than like ever studying a textbook or watching a movie or like watching YouTube videos about like how to do something. You got to get your hands dirty. So I would take my payment from my 9 to 5 essentially, right. And I try to make shorts on YouTube, and my YouTube channel, like I'm not like a YouTuber or anything like that, but like it got decent, like I got like a couple 100,000 views on like a couple. I've
seen
videos.
A couple of your projects. I even saw the music video that you were mentioning prior.
One of the
the rock video.
But I would purposefully spend on myself to better myself, so I think that like you need to have something to support yourself, of course, but I mean like fund the projects, just if we didn't have that income coming in, even if it wasn't through a creative field, it's like just make something, just keep fucking making your own content.
Right. And another reason why I also wanted to bring you on here is because I think that you specifically, Mena, and also you, Joel, but right now for you is that you are I feel like you are a ray of light of inspiration. And what I mean by that,
so sweet.
And what I mean by that, not just
I used
from
to be his inspiration,
not just from your talent, but and I hate to kind of bring this up, and I don't want to delve too much into this, but in this political landscape that we're in right now, we're seeing a lot of pushback with progression and so on and so forth. And I'm just glad that people could be able to see you for your talents and what you do, as opposed to thinking that some cynic out there might think that you're just in this because you're DEI.
DEI?
Basically, I forget I forget what it stands for, but basically, a minority only getting this opportunity because you are a minority.
Oh, word. Okay, yeah. No.
I was concerned, bro. I was like, what is DAI? What's going on here? Like, are you okay?
The feds ain't after you, bro. Don't worry.
I was like, oh, God.
You're not on set anymore.
Yeah, warrants. No, stop. I don't got warrants.
But for sure, that's something that I absolutely like to also project out there whenever I put myself out in an article or on social media, like, how you're saying, like, Instagram, your social media is like, this is my work, this is my portfolio, like I do the same thing. I post about what I'm doing, but I also love to, gravitate towards, hey guys, I am a female minority in film. And even if I am not like Angelina Jolie status, I'm doing this like full time, and you can too. And I try to encourage girls or just people of color in general, just, don't like let your negative thoughts hold you back. Like, just get out there, make your own work, you'll be seen. Especially right now in the time of social media and the internet. Like, put your work out there. It'll pass it around. Like, you can do it. Yeah, I think it's very important for like voices from people of color to be heard and be on set. Like, it's so beautiful to me to go on a set and I'm like, damn, look, there's a Hispanic DP, hello, or something. I'm like, hey, what's up? Right. It's not just all white dudes, essentially, like right. I love seeing the mixture of culture.
I'm curious though, you said you had 5 siblings, or it's
I'm
5
one of
with
5.
you? One of 5, okay.
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest, okay.
Yeah.
So did you struggle to be seen?
Did I start? No.
Because you keep saying to be seen, so like, did you struggle to be seen? Did you feel like you had to like stand out?
I think it's interesting bringing the siblings with that, because I think because I am the oldest sister, the oldest out of everybody, naturally I felt kind of like a little dictator type thing from my siblings.
You're like
I'm
delegating around the house.
Like, let me tell you, my brother, he is 6 foot something and 200 whatever pounds. Like he's a big guy.
Jesus.
But I'm big sister.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm the eldest son.
He's probably ready to fight
Yeah.
after watching this.
Yeah. So I'm like, no, I'm the eldest son. What's up? So I think that because of my upbringing with brothers and being like in a big family, I always felt the need. Maybe internally, I did feel like I have to be seen because I'm small, you know, and I've got these big brothers and stuff, physically big, you know. But I think that's just my general attitude. I kind of like took it out, and I felt like also everybody has their insecurities here and there, but I think that I didn't care about talking outward as much because I felt a very maternal instinct with, like, you know, having to help raise my siblings, you know, to a degree, and you know, teach them also, you know, respect yourself and, you know, be out there. I also grew up in a big martial arts family. My dad owned a dojo in Florida.
Oh, wow.
So there was we did taekwondo and mixed martial arts. But
Nice.
I think because of my upbringing, being around, like, no, stand up for yourself, do this, protect your siblings, you know, the whole thing. I know I just kind of carried that out with no, I'm gonna be seen.
That's probably where you get your directing style from.
That's probably why, yeah, because I boss my brothers around.
Well, I don't want to say that you were bossy on the set. I just feel like you knew exactly what the fuck you wanted.
Yeah.
I'm at least loud. Like I'll talk.
Yeah.
No, but thank you. Yeah, I do think it's important for everybody to, you know, when you're directing a project, to just know what your vision is, you know? Like, even if it's not your script. Like, The Undead, that's not my script. That's not my writing. The Uncle Sid, that's not my script. That's not my writing. But I'm handed a material, and I'm said, you know, make this happen. Here's my script. Make it happen. So I'm going to do that, you know? I'm going to try to envision it to the best that I can, and I'm going to put my own little flair on it if I have the opportunity to, and I'm going to make it happen. Because, you know, I think, you know, the one thing about, you know, being a director is, like, you know, you will fall if you lose control of your vision, you know? Like, if an actor comes to you and says, like, this is my portrayal of the character, they're doing it. How are you you're supposed to tell them, like, okay, yes, keep that up. I want more of this. Like, you have to know what you're doing, you know?
Yeah.
In terms of at least what you want, you know? Like, you learn a little bit from every set, and each actor is also going to bring a little different flavor. You know, like I've learned a lot from actors too. You know, I've had some really interesting actors come onto set, and I'm like, you know what? I saw that your character in a different way, but you do that. You know,
Sometimes
I
it
like
just
what
works.
you did. Yeah, like this is different. You know, especially also in the auditioning process. It's very interesting. Sometimes I would get a self tape in, and I'm like, you know what? I didn't picture this for the character, but I fuck with that. I want that.
Nice.
You know, I see you. You know, it's kind of like what we did with you. I was like,
Right.
I was like, no, that he's got to be the bad cop. That voice.
I think you had like a string of opportunities which led you to like bad cops. No,
I mean, I'm. You know what it is? Is like when I did that role, which I just channel. I mentioned this before on a previous episode where I just channeled my inner Ray Liotta, and I think that's where that energy came from.
I love that.
And so with that being said, he's, you know, God rest his soul, he was kind of, for lack of a better term, kind of typecast as the tough guy, whether he was a cop or a criminal, whatever the case may be. And that is, the fact that I get complimented on it is actually very humbling for me and appreciative, because I don't know anything about that world in real life.
Of course.
And just me being able to channel it from a dark place in my own personal life and succeed in selling it, I think that's actually a pretty cool feeling. And that kind of brings me with what I wanted to bring up again, because you said that you're pretty comfortable being the heel in a lot of these projects. Is that because, like, you really enjoy tapping into something that you really aren't fully aware of in real life? It's just something that you just like. It brings something out of you that you normally don't do in your everyday life.
Yeah, I would say so. I've always been the type of person where I consider myself to be the opposite of a heel in real life. I try to be considerate. I have a lot of morals. Mm-hmm. I was in the military, so there were a lot of values that I learned. Integrity is one of my biggest ones. Always Army.
Are you on the Army? Cool.
Army, yeah. Integrity, always do the right thing even when nobody's looking, you know? So it's always been something, a part of me. But when I play a heel, it's like anything goes. You know, when I play a heel, it's like I get to, and people kind of say I have like this thing with like, like this smirk, because I'm a troll too. So like whenever I talk any trash, if I'm winning, don't let me win at anything, because I won't let you hear the end of it.
Right.
So it's people tell me that it works, you know, and essentially I'm a big guy on feedback, so I take that sometimes. I look at whatever tapes I have, and I'm like, you know what, I think I can make this work, and I can build on this. I'm not saying that I'm opposed to playing anything else. I have had roles that I've played where I did play one lead role on a project, and even though the message was that character was a bad character, it was how I portrayed him that mattered. So, and I kind of connected with that character, and I felt like he might have gotten the short end of the stick. And, you know, sometimes, like you said, sometimes actors bring something different to the table, and it just works.
Right.
So I feel that being a heel has been something that hasn't really been my choice, but I like it. You know, I feel like it works. You know, they say I got the evil smirk. I don't know about that. They feel like I don't know.
I actually have a question for you for playing villains. Do you feel when you're playing those characters that you try to empathize with them? You know, because like that character, maybe they're messed up, but like to them, what they're doing is right, or like they want something, whether it's revenge or even no matter how messed up it is. Like, do you feel like you try to empathize with them and put yourself in their shoes? Like, how do you take on playing villains?
Well, I try to connect with any character that I'm given. I try to learn more. I did write a script. I'm in the middle of writing a script, and the first thing I did was write a backstory on each character that I had, just so I can be able to connect with them more, even if I'm not playing that character. So I feel like I try to do the same thing whenever I do take on a role.
Yeah.
If it's a villain, another fun thing about being a heel is that you get to kind of just let your emotions take, because that's what anger is. That's what being a heel is. It's just not being able to control your emotions and just letting that portray itself. So I think by connecting with them, yes, but what the fun thing about that is that I can just explore and tap into that rage that'll just like let me just like paint onto a clean canvas.
It must be therapeutic.
It really is. It really is. It's more therapeutic when somebody tells you like, wow, like where did that come from?
And that's kind of like where I was getting to, because like I've known you for some time now. Like, you're one of my closest friends, and I would be remiss if I didn't feel like I was honest with you in saying that's you're one of the nicest guys I know. You're a cool guy and everything, but I also feel like, just like any other human, and I've been through this myself, where we have this kind of this rage or this angst within us that we tend to bottle up because it's just not appropriate, or we just try not to do it where there's everybody around, or we just try to like remain positive, but every now and then the top is going to blow off. So to making sure that doesn't happen, maybe you finding acting and being a heel is also that therapy that she was just mentioning, where like you're finally getting that angst out, even if you didn't know that it was deep within you. Because there are moments where we all feel like we tend to bottle it in, and because we try to focus so much on the positivity and try not to focus on what's like eating us alive, but you can only put it down for so much until you actually get to the root of the problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I would say that it does kind of help blow off the steam. I just got to say that you also have to learn, like, to know what the line is, because you don't want to think that that's something that's just like lying beneath you, because some of these roles are scary, but for me, it's just the feel of that accomplishment of I was able to tap into something and safely remove myself is big for me, so if I play a role of somebody who's just messed up, or just like I recently played a role where I had to kind of supervise this woman as a bodyguard, and there was a lot of striking, and there was a stunt coordinator on set, but I had to kind of tap into like, all right, like this guy is unstable, like this guy is just like, his job is to watch this person, make sure they don't get away at any cost, and thankfully I don't have any reserve feelings there. Like I couldn't relate to it on a personal level, but I was still able to at least think to emotions that I have related to, like frustration, or the desperation of trying to like hold on to a task and make sure you complete the task, babysitting something, like, so I would say it's kind of like in between for me.
Yeah. Now, us being creatives, I feel like as much as we don't want to admit it because we're afraid of being perceived as narcissists from on some people.
All the antitheses.
But I feel like as artists, especially what we do, as much as we want to deny it or be coy about it, I think that validation is actually pretty important to us because it lets us know that we're doing the best job that we possibly can. And we're not doing it for our ego strokes or anything like that. We just want to make sure that we're doing the best job possible. And we feel like validation is actually an important factor in what we do. So feel free, please, tell me what the hell I'm doing good and what I'm doing bad and anything that I could better myself, or also let me know that I'm actually doing great so I'm not overthinking it. I think that validation is pretty essential in what we do because we care so much deeply about our craft as opposed to just working a regular 9-to-5 where, they could just let us go in the blink of an eye.
Feedback is crucial.
Yes.
Feedback is, I live off of feedback. I'm the type of person I walk up to whoever's in charge. I'm like, do you have feedback for me? Because it's not just that project. It's not just that job. I'm going to move on to another job, another project, and I'm going to need to know what I could have done better because, I hate when we film something and it's one take and done because it's okay, it couldn't have been perfect, what could I have done better so I could make it perfect for you because I always want to deliver,
Yeah, you got to make sure you have thick skin because critique is very important. How are you supposed to grow? If you don't get critique. And the thing is also art is subjective, so not everything that everybody says is going to be, take it with a grain of salt. But it's important to hear what people have to say because if you close that off, how are you supposed to grow? Because maybe someone will have something that's interesting for you or maybe you do agree with their opinion, it's just good to hear those opinions so that you can progress. You're saying, you're going to move on to a different project. Let me hear it. Also, how does the director view you? How does, also set etiquette, how are you as an individual being on set? If I was acting weird on set, I would want someone to just tell me about my behavior too, not even just about my job. Let me know so I don't have to do that in the future. Let me be self-aware.
Yeah. Why haven't I gotten a job in 6 months? It's because nobody can tolerate you.
Yeah. Oh, I'm an asshole.
Have either of you experienced? Because we're talking, I get the sense that we care about our craft, but what about those other people, whether they're cast or crew, that are simply just there because it's an ego boost for them, and they don't necessarily care about the craft or anything. They just feel like, oh, this is the next thing, basically opportunist thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I think I say this for everything. The art comes first, right? If you can make a way, if you can do something, and I apologize if I don't understand your question, but for me, if you can make the art look good, then whatever you're in it for, to me, it just doesn't matter. If you can go in and you can, if you're acting because it's your passion, or if you're acting because it's just a hobby, or if you're doing it for whatever reason, the art to me comes first.
Well, I guess to give it a little bit more context, where I've actually been on sets before where, listen, the film that we did, it was only 3 minutes long, but we were on set for 10 hours. It was a long.
For what your uncle said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a long day for a film that was only 3 minutes.
Absolutely. You gotta get those angles.
Exactly. No, but it
was an intense 3 minutes I saw.
Yeah.
I went to the premiere with you.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, it's a process, and I've actually been on sets a couple of times where people are clearly frustrated because they want to get the ball rolling and so on and so forth, but that's they don't understand that this takes time. This isn't just something that where you just punch a clock and then you leave whenever you want to do. It just kind of makes me feel like you have to weed out those people because it could lead to a toxic environment on set. And unfortunately, I have experienced that myself.
You know what's crazy is for every 3 hours, it's maybe 2 minutes on film.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so true.
It's so crazy.
Well, people don't realize how much, if you're just a consumer, if you're just watching movies on TV or something, you don't realize here's this one little intimate scene where we're in a bedroom, but there's 20 people in that room too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm
like
hearing
there's
my
so much that
knickers,
goes into
you know, like
it.
I'm hearing my boxers and stuff, and you're here just like
yeah,
you know?
it's funny because like actors will say this all the time. Sex scenes are never sexy.
Yeah.
Like, but also just aside from that, it's yeah, like all the effort that goes into making something look great. If there's some type of lighting, sometimes lighting itself can take 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
You know, and the actors aren't even in that scene physically yet. Like they're the gaffers and grips are still setting up. You know, like it takes time. Like that film that we did, it did take 10 hours to do because like we're aside from just getting camera angles, we have to set the lighting.
Yeah.
We have to, you know, make sure makeup's done. Makeup itself could also take an hour or more, you know, also per person. It depends on how many people are there.
And it also depends on the conditions because like there's sometimes where like it could be a hot set and you put makeup on and then it has to get done 15 minutes later. And then you're just like, all right, you know, you don't want to come off with shiny face or anything like that.
And also the opposite. Like I've been on a set where it was way too cold, so the prosthetics weren't melting too much to go onto someone's skin. It was like very blocky. And so like we were checking in on the artist and we're like, hey, what's up? Are you good? You know, but they're like, no, it's just the weather because the air conditioning wasn't working, you know, and then we were outside. That's
always fun.
So yeah, like what could they do? They tried their best to like go to a car and, you know, heat it up when we were outside, but it's like we couldn't do anything about that, you know. It was the air conditioning wasn't working on the location too, or the heat, should I say, you know. So that took a while. But it's like all these little things that people don't realize will also hold it back or, you know, add up into time, even if that was factored into the schedule. Like there's a lot that goes into it.
When you could be on set and it's the most frustrating day of all time for either one of you, how do you guys get through that miserable day? Because not every day on set is peaches and cream. You're gonna have those moments where it's just unbearable and you just want to get through the day. Lord knows I've had my fair share of them. I'll start with you, Mena.
Sure. I think that to prevent things like that from happening in general, you should have a solid team. You know, like if I am putting a team together, they have to know what they're doing and also have my back, and we have to all be working together. I think that, you know, when you were mentioning before about like bad attitudes, that like one person who is super negative can mess up the entire vibe of the production. You know, and I understand like things will happen like, oh man, I don't want to go into OT or something, you know, but you know, if you have a better attitude, it's going to be so much better for the rest of your crew. You know, so I think it starts there.
And you have a phenomenal team, and I'm very fortunate and humble that I got a chance to work with you and your team, and I'm looking forward to possibly working with more in the future. But,
absolutely.
But your crew was top notch.
Thank you.
I thought that they were amazing, and I love the finished product. So
yeah, I'm very pleased with it too. But also like even coming onto a set and I don't know the crew. You know, if there's new people that I'm working with, I love meeting new people. But it's like you know, don't just try not to carry a bad attitude because you could mess it up for the rest of the team. Everybody no one wants to be around someone who's going to be nasty or someone who's going to be like, oh god, when is the day going to be done? You know, we feel that internally. We're exhausted. You know, like filmmaking also, it's a lot of physical strength.
Yeah.
Like man, when I was getting into like cinematography, I was like, I didn't realize that I had to carry like 20s of pounds of equipment. I didn't realize this. Like all the rigs and building it. This is fucking heavy shit. You know, look at what gaffers have to lug up. Some of these lights, they're like, this shit's like 100 pounds. Yeah. You know, or whatever, but probably not that heavy. But you know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie, as an actor, I see people lifting stuff, and I'm like, do you need? Oh, I can't help you. Sorry.
Yeah, you know? No, it's very sweet. That's what it goes to, though. You think about helping. Yeah, it's very sweet. But yeah, no, like they, it's a lot of manpower, you know, and so like we're all tired. We're all physically exhausted at the end of the day. So just don't be an asshole. Like just do your job, smile, and you're gonna get done, and you're gonna get your money. And if you don't want to be there, like maybe it's just not for you. I know that everybody also has bad days. But, you know, speaking about attitudes too, it's interesting that I feel like there's two, right? Like there's multiple, but two that really stick out to me. So you've got the people who have been doing this, they like what they're doing, but they're jaded. They're tired. They're like, this is a paycheck. So I'm like, great, you made this career out for yourself. You're making fucking movies. But, you know, you're tired, you're jaded, you know, you're bringing this bad attitude. You just want to like get on set, get off, leave. Like no one really wants to be around that. But then also like you were mentioning the actors or people in general who see it as like just this ego feeding opportunity, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we also don't want to be around that. Like, just try to be nice, do your job, and go. And even if you have ulterior motives, like being an actor and you just want more clout, and that's why you're in this movie, don't let other people know about that.
Yeah.
Like, don't ruin it for me. Don't make my like, look, you do you, whatever you want.
Yeah, do
you
your
know?
job.
But like,
do your job.
don't bring that over to me. Go act, post about it on TikTok. I don't care. But like, don't bring your negative attitude towards the rest of the team.
Right. How about you, Joel?
With me, what was the question again?
How like we all have our days on set where it's just not going well. It's like how do you make sure that you don't let that
I would say crafty. Give me
Make sure you're fed.
give me snacks, give me food, and because the thing is, I really...
Dude, you're like the Hulk. Like, if you don't... We don't want to see you when you're angry, when you're hungry, or anything
no,
like
that's
that.
That's like the Snickers commercial.
That's the thing, is that when I'm just... If I get frustrated, I get quiet. Give me some AirPods and some crafty, and I'll be fine. Crafty as in snacks and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll be good. See, I don't envy what you have to do and what your crew has to do, because it's a lot. You guys make magic. One scene can be shot in this room, and different angles mean you have to move a buttload of equipment to one side and then the other, so things don't come out.
Yeah.
As an actor, I just have to move to the other side.
You know what's so funny about that statement, though, is I feel the complete opposite. I'm like, I don't envy some of the stuff that you have to do, because also like for me, I'm like, I'm in my sweatpants, nobody has to see me. Okay, I'm gonna go outside, my friend's having a smoke break, we'll get through this. Where's crafty? But you have to look good. You have to cry and then cry again. I feel acting is very laborious, but in a different way. Like, you guys are tapping into your emotions. You have to make sure everything is like good. It's just a different, I think, skill set, but like when I see an actor doing this heavy emotional scene, or maybe you have to tap into the villain and you're like, all right, let me do this. Then it's like, all right, cut. Here's some notes. You have to do it again. Yeah. It's like a mental thing that it's like, okay, wait, yeah, you did this evil laugh and you started crying and all this and you looked horrible and mean. Do it again. Wait, can you actually do it again, but this time flare your nostrils? And now it's like, all right, now I have to think about being emotional, but now doing something physical at the same time. Like, that's a lot. So I give you props for that,
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
I actually heard this story. This is a pretty crazy story. So, Scatman Crothers, who was in The Shining, directed by Stanley Kubrick.
Yes.
Stanley Kubrick was infamous for taking takes after takes after takes after takes
man.
takes. Crazy. And he was just like, it frustrated Scatman Crothers to do a specific scene, and Stanley Kubrick just wanted to get all these takes. I don't know for what reason, but he was a perfectionist. That's how his style was.
Just how he worked.
Yeah. His next film, Scatman Crothers, he was working with Clint Eastwood. I forget what movie it was, but Clint Eastwood is also infamous for doing the one take and that's it.
Yes,
and then afterwards
yes.
he did, and when he did that one take and he was ready to move on, Scatman Crothers actually broke down and cried because he was so happy he didn't have to do that scene again. So it could break down some people. Some of the people you work with can really affect you mentally sometimes.
See, one thing I've done too, because I love being able to pick people's brains, and I love being able to witness stuff from different parts of the business. So I've done some background work, right? And the reason why I did that was not because it's the very simple paycheck, but I did it more because to be able to see a huge production do their thing, and seeing some of these,
being very observant.
Seeing some of these top tier like actors work like behind the scenes, and you see them how they really are. You see that they play with those opportunities to be able to take multiple takes. They don't deliver the same line over and over and over. They do it a little different. They do it a little different, and then that's how you see how it works out on camera, like when the product is finished. So I can appreciate multiple takes. I think when you just do one take, it's just, when you're editing, you just don't have enough to work with.
Right.
So I don't mind repeating something a million times. As long as you make me look good on camera, we're good.
That's true. I think there's a good middle ground.
Yeah,
you don't have to be a one take wonder, but you also have to do it a million times like you're shooting an anime or something.
Yeah.
Like, why do I need to go to like Z on the slate? That's unnecessary. I don't need to make this actor cry again and again. Like, that is an emotional thing. But yeah, I think there's a good middle ground for everything, because it'll make me look good. You want this to work also really well for the editor.
Right. All right. Well, we're coming up on the clock time where we got to get the clock integrity soon, but I feel like I could talk to you guys more and more about this stuff, and
Absolutely.
eventually we could probably do more episodes like these. But
if we had a phone wire, I'd be twirling that thing. Right
I love that. I love that.
It's
But
been a
I want to get to this last segment. So there's this new segment that I created on the show. It's called This or That. It's basically inspired from Black Sheep. You can get with this, you can get with that. It's multiple choice questions that is based around you guys. And basically, I don't want to be an asshole or anything, but this is like a Sophie's choice. I don't want to hear, "Ooh, I'm kind of both or whatever." No, choose one. This is a Sophie's choice you're doing here.
I feel like
it's not like
title,
the SATs.
I feel like the title of this episode should be "Don't Be an Asshole." I keep
Yeah,
hearing that.
Yeah,
He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do that."
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into the segment anyway. All right. You ready, Marv? You ready, Joel?
Of course.
Ready, Mena?
Let's get it.
All right. So the way I'm going to do is that I'm just going to say out the question, and then Mena, you go first, and then afterwards, because I'm a gentleman, ladies first, and then Joel, you can answer afterwards. All right. So let me go for this or that, and I need more water. God damn it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, for this or that, you, Mena and Joel, playlist or podcast?
Playlist.
Pancakes or waffles?
Waffles.
Pancakes.
All right. Taylor ham or pork roll?
Pork roll.
Buzz.
Taylor ham.
There you go. That's the ding. He gets the ding ding. She gets the buzz.
I wouldn't choose either one of these, but I was like,
Yeah.
Slides or Crocs?
Slides.
You with the socks in them too, right?
Socks
Dominican.
in them too, man.
Have you seen a Crocs tan line? Absolutely not.
No.
Hard pass.
And I'm the king of farmer tan. You don't want to, say beach or pool?
Beach.
Pool.
All right. Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
IG.
All right. Introvert or extrovert?
Extrovert.
Extrovert.
Batman or Superman?
Batman.
Superman.
Woo.
McDonald's or Taco Bell?
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
Easily.
Yeah, closest thing to the culture.
Easily.
Yeah.
Do you prefer the window seat or the aisle seat?
Aisle seat.
Aisle seat.
And you gotta go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You gotta pee.
Yes, thank you.
That's the worst thing. Yeah,
that's
exactly why I go to the aisle. And besides, I'm also a bigger guy, so I don't want to climb over people.
I'm not climbing over anybody.
I mean, it's annoying when they catch you in the elbow, but it's fine. It's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth the seat.
Are you glass half empty or glass half full?
Full.
Full.
Would you rather be embarrassed or be afraid?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's deep.
I'd rather be afraid.
I'd rather be afraid.
I'm always embarrassed. I mastered it. Book smart or street smart?
Street smart.
Seen these tattoos, bro? Street smart. What are you talking about? I better be.
Mofongo or mangu?
Man, I'm gonna get blocked.
Mofongo.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Mom. I'm gonna say mango.
All right. Reading or writing?
Writing.
Writing.
Ice water or room temperature?
Ice.
Iced.
Nikes or Adidas?
Nikes.
I mess with both. I'm gonna say Adidas.
All right. James Cameron or Steven Spielberg?
Spielberg.
Spielberg.
Jim Carrey or Robin Williams?
Ooh. Jim Carrey.
This is tough, man.
That's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. Robin Williams.
Yeah. Shout out to him. Rest in peace. Got a couple more here. Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday.
Saturday.
Would you rather be too hot or be too cold?
Be too cold. I get migraines.
Be too hot.
Yeah? Yeah.
I can't.
I'd rather
stand
be
the
too cold.
I can't stand the cold, man.
If-
Caribbean blood is just doesn't.
There's a group of people. Yeah.
it's just
I
can't do
sweat
it.
like a pig, so it's not like I could just be a nudist.
I was cold on the way in here, so it's
The heat gives me headaches, and I freeze myself to get rid of them. So I'm a cold bitch.
Marvel or DC?
I'm sorry.
Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Marvel.
Michael Myers or Freddy Krueger?
Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger.
Win your nightmares.
Double XL or The Source?
Double XL. Have to.
And then finally, teamwork or solo project?
Teamwork.
Teamwork makes the dream work, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this episode of First Class, Second Place. That is going to do it for this segment of This or That. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for coming in clutch on this episode. I wish we can continue talking on more, but we're up against the clock, and I want to get Marv home, and I got to go home and everything. But guys, thank you so much, especially you guys.
Thank you for
I know you guys, took time out of your busy schedules, and you guys don't live close by, but the fact that you guys made it out here for little old me makes me feel very, very humbled and grounded, and thank you guys for coming through. I really, really appreciate it.
Anytime. It was a blast.
Yes. Thank you for having us, man.
Yeah, but before we go, anybody want to give a shout out to real quick before I close out?
I'm going to say shout out to Andromeda Productions. That's my production company that we made with, I work with Corey Shimko and Miles Weinfeld, and we're boosting that up. Also, shout out to Club Andromeda. That's our venue.
All right. And Joel?
Shout out to my family. I'm pretty sure they'll be watching. And shout out to Zane from I Am Zane Studios.
Hey, shout out to Zane. I actually wanted to get him on the show, but you couldn't make it today.
Oh, that man.
It's okay.
It's tough to get him. He's a busy guy.
Yeah.
Busy guy.
Yeah. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can find Mena on Instagram and all social media platforms at Mena Guy, MENAGUY. You could also find Joel Frometa at I Am Frometa, IAMFORMETA. I think I'm spelling that right.
Yeah, you got that.
Okay, there we go. Thank you so much for guys and for coming through. And ladies and gentlemen, you can find me at I Am Jason Enrique on all social media platforms. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube at First Class Second Place. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been the First Class Second Place podcast. We out.